boy.
I just totally kicked you in the knee.
This angle, I don't know. Might have a double chin thing. I don't know. It'll be fine.
We've had man boobs in previous videos.
We've made no qualms about being skinny men, so.
No, none whatsoever. And that's why these old stadium chairs are absolutely perfect for this video, which is not only late,
yes,
but also incredibly lame by that lateness.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is our, oh gosh, okay, so this is the Psychedelic Experience's Best Vinyl Finds of 2014, number 10. So, my number 10 pick. Yes, that's right. Iron Butterfly Live. Get a look at that cover, baby. This LP gets kind of ripped apart if you read all music reviews, Discog reviews, and stuff like that. In fact, one of my favorite reviews that it gets is one that says, Iron Butterfly Live, Side 2, Inagata DeVita. Only 3 minutes longer than the studio version, but 3 times as tedious. I love it. I'm all about that type of stuff. Iron Butterfly Live, my number 10 pick of 2014. By the way, got that at Recycled Records in Springfield.
So do you want to say what you paid for it? You don't have to, but...
I would, but I'm going to say that I honestly don't. $8?
We're like the old men from the Muppets. Right now,
I fancy us to be the Statler and Waldorf of YouTube.
Alright, kids, I think I got
poker. I hardly knew her.
Here we go. Alright, my number 10 pick. This was from a St. Louis record show, I believe, the November one.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Got this for like $4. This is Funkadelic's Maggot Break. Just a monster of a funk album. And the title track, for me, is worth the price of admission alone. And that cover art, I mean, it's just terrifying but awesome all at the same time. The head there, and then you got the skull on the back. Just, amazing. Really, really glad I have this. And, yeah.
Number 9.
It's 9, and that's a magic number.
This is a first pressing of the Bee Gees' Odessa from 1969. So it does have the sort of velvety red cover. This is a stereo copy. I got it, I think I paid $14 for this at the Elf Shelf in Springfield, Illinois. It's a phenomenal vocal pop album, and vocal pop of the late 60s is just something that I'm into. Vocal orchestral pop. I think it kicks butt. I'm opening it inwardly here just to show you that bad boy. It's kind of got this motif here of a child being passed between a sinking ship and a lifeboat. It's a neat little kind of novelty, but awesome music as well. Double album. So that's my number 9 pick. And as I said, I got it at the Elf Shelf in Springfield, and I paid $14 or $15 for it. So I feel pretty good about that, sir.
This one I'm about to get yelled at. You can see the head shaking already. Number 9, the Tea Company. Come and have some tea with the Tea Company.
Have you ever had a friend who's kind of having a crappy day, and they're like, things just aren't going that well for me, and you're like, I've got this cup of tea right here. You can have it if you would like it. And they're like, you know what? I think I would like that cup of tea. And it turns out that cup of tea is worth about $40.
Yeah, the cup of tea only cost me about $10. But no, for real, I really am appreciative that Sam, the old psych professor, kindly was like, hey, do you know anything about this? And when I freaked out, he'd pass it along to me if I wanted to buy it. And I did. I snatched it up. This is just a fantastic psych album. It looks like it might be kind of psych pop or pop psych. But it's pretty much a straightforward, trippy, weird psych. This is a fantastic album. If you find this, if you're into psych, this is one well worth seeking out.
So my number 8 pickup of the year is one that I know Mellow Yellow also grabbed a copy of.
Yes.
But I got it first. This one also from the Elf Shelf in Springfield. And I really think I may have paid $5 or $6 for this. This is Chad and Jeremy's Of Cabbages and Kings.
That cover.
And this cover is really, really fantastic. It was one of our earliest show posters.
They think that I'm lazy and they tell her that she's crazy family.
This is one, the cover almost accurately describes what the music is in this.
It really does.
More vocal orchestral pop. I'm totally into it. I'm a sucker for it. And this was their weird psych album. There was a review of this that said it's everything that was ridiculous about 1960s psych pop. It's kind of true. And I love it! Of Cabbages and Kings, Chad and Jeremy. You won't be disappointed if you like vocal orchestral pop. So that's my number 7 find in 2014.
All right, number 7, continuing the St. Louis Record Show finds from November. This is J.D. Blackfoot, The Ultimate Prophecy. It's an album I wanted for a long time, so I just decided to pony up and pay the man his money, as they say. And this was, I think, $20. Side 1 is sort of a country rock, and, you know, some psych influence. And then side 2 is just this weird, crazy psychedelic suite that opens with him screaming, "This is the ultimate prophecy!" And it gets into that weird, like, chanty, trippy, weird psych, and I love that stuff. I am a sucker for it.
If Mellow Yellow had lived in 1970, he would have worn a moo-moo. A paisley moo-moo.
But, yeah, J.D. Blackfoot, The Ultimate Prophecy.
So my number 6 pickup of 2014 isn't one that's terribly tough to find, but it's one that rocks a lot more than you might think. The Guess Who, American Woman, and I kid you not, this album really does kind of rock from beginning to end. I also think it's funny, these guys were not good-looking people.
No.
I kind of am a fan of, I have a thing for bands of guys who look like normal guys. These guys look like us, and so I kind of like that.
I love the leather.
The Guess Who, yeah. It's kind of it's almost like a pre-Star Wars look he has really going on there. Yeah, it's... just great Canadian blues psych rock. I'm all about it. It's not a tough one to find, but I'm really happy with this copy of it. But that's my number 6 pickup.
What am I on? Is this 6?
Was that 7?
I think it was 7. Is that right?
It might have been 7, actually.
We can't.
Yeah, no, I can't. I totally missed 8. I can't count down. I also can't breathe.
All right, whatever number this is, I think it's 8. Right? Yeah. No, wait, this is 7.
This is 7.
This is 7. Gosh. Clapper, take 14.
A couple of MIT grads here.
Number 7. This is Hawkwind Space Ritual. Again, another St. Louis Record Show find. It's a live album, which is really cool. Normally live psych albums can be like that Iron Butterfly, just a little excessive and like, all right, let's hit the next track, fellas. But this one, you just want them to keep playing on this one. It's trippy, it's dark, it's cool. Yeah, just kind of some space psych. A little proggy, I guess, but fantastic. And the cover of this has some shots of the live show that just look like this was nuts. I mean, just crazy. This would be a concert I would want to go back in time and attend. Yeah, this I got this from the same guy that I got Maggot Brain from, and this was like $4. So
I never have good luck at that guy.
You don't.
And, I mean,
he's such a jerk.
He never has anything that looks good to me, and then Mellow Yellow finds nuggets of gold. Okay, this is my actual number 6 pick. And this is a novelty that I did get at the St. Louis Record Show, which is also where I got American Woman, by the way. But this is Winter K. Frog's Out of the Frying Pan. I paid $5 for this album, and it is so awesome. It's organ rock. It's mostly instrumental stuff. It's super enjoyable, though. I think that when they put together the soundtrack for Austin Powers, they listened to a bunch of this and were like, let's parody this. Because it's so emblematic of 60s instrumental organ rock psych pop. I love it, and I love that back cover too. Paisley.
All right, now for my number 6 pick.
Gosh, it's just a jealousy stream.
Got this from our friend Brian. This is the Stooges self-titled album. Kind of a weird one. This is actually a French pressing from like 71 or 72. He had this marked at $7. And kind of cut us a deal, but it's about what I paid for it. It was like $7. And the first track that opens the album, 1969, is really good psych rock. Fantastic. And the rest of it has that kind of harder edge, kind of proto-punk psych feel to it. Just, as you say, needle to label on both sides. Wonderful album. This is essential in anybody's collection, I would say. Even if you're not a 60s fan, you need to pick this one up.
And this is my actual number 5, so back on track here.
Oh, yeah.
This is The Crazy World of Arthur Brown, and I'm particularly proud of this one. It's not a terribly difficult record to find a repress of, but this is an original pressing on Track Records. I think I paid $6 for this at a record store called The Exclusive Company. It's a regional chain in southern Wisconsin, and it's got fire on it, man. I'm a sucker for organ rock. I've just realized that right now. Much like Winter K. Frog, it's almost like one of those... it's almost a parody of itself in how novelty it seems, but as a 60s, an emblematic nugget of what the 60s were, a totem of it, this is it. You gotta have The Crazy World of Arthur Brown on vinyl.
Number 5, right? Number 5. This was actually a really early 2014 pickup for me, and Sam was with me when it happened. Actually, our very first record run video. Yeah, we went to GB's Tapes and CDs in Decatur. It's a cool store, and I ended up getting this for like $2 or $3. This is Joe Bird and Dorothy Moskowitz, who also were a part of Joe Bird and the Field Hippies. Both albums are crazy, weird, experimental, like early electronics kind of stuff, but in a very psychedelic vein and not in like a weird synth pop way.
Less Brian Eno, more
Yes.
Brian Wilson.
Yes, good call. Look at you. That's it. United States of America. We're ending on that.
I will actually add one more addendum. If you need another reason to get into that record, psych rock without a guitar on the album.
That's very true, and it's deep psych. It's fantastic.
All right, speaking of Brian Wilson, this is my number 4 pickup, stereo. If it's not a 1966 pressing, then it's very, very soon thereafter of course, the legendary Pet Sounds. I had given up finding an original copy that I could afford, and the night before I purchased this one, I got the brand new Capitol Records Back to the Vaults reissue of the mono copy. And of course, that one sounds really, really good. So I got it at Mantiques, a secondhand store in downtown Janesville, Wisconsin. I walked in the day after I had purchased that brand new mono copy of Pet Sounds, and this was in a bin, and everything in the bin was 25% off. So I paid $9 for this. So for less than $10, I can't pass that up. And
Absolutely.
I think just looking through my records that I've featured so far, the only one that I've paid more than $10 for is that double album, Bee Gees Odessa. Yeah. So average price on mine has been pretty darn low so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for yours as well. Some of you have $3 fines. Yeah. So the good stuff can be out there.
Absolutely.
Do a little dumpster diving.
Absolutely. I live in the dumpster. That sounded weird.
Side note.
Yeah, Clef taking 24. Yeah, if you watch my channel regularly, I apologize for the lack of videos the last couple of months. I have no excuse other than I'm just lazy. But I've got a record here that I got at Vintage Vinyl in St. Louis. So I haven't shown it in one of my videos proper, but this will show up in the top 10 of 2014. This is Skip Spence, or Alexander Spence, or of course famous for being in Moby Grape and also one of the founding members of Jefferson Airplane. So clean. This is a really clean copy. I got this for $20. Well, actually, this was marked at $20. Had a note in it that said this is not a reissue, but the vinyl is rough, priced accordingly. And the vinyl's not that bad. It has some hairlines, plays through fine. There's minimal surface noise, so I don't know who priced it or why they priced it so low. This is normally like a $100 album.
I hope that person prices every record that I purchase.
Absolutely.
At Vintage Vinyl.
Yeah, and I actually had some records that I traded in for credit, so I think I got this for like $7 after my trade.
Wow.
So it's a really, really good album. It's solid. Again, there's a couple songs that, you know, if you had the CD copy, you might hit skip on, but no pun intended, skip. Take 40.
You have yet to show a record I didn't wish I had in my collection. Maybe I can get you back a little bit with this jam. Yeah. Their Satanic Majesty's Request, the 1967 full-on foray into psychedelia from the Rolling Stones. Some people love it and some people loathe it. I think it's phenomenal.
I do too.
This is unfortunately not an original gatefold pressing with the hologram cover. This is a, I think, mid-70s German import pressing, so it's still on Decca Records. The criticism has always been that the Rolling Stones were 6 months behind the Beatles on everything, and so this, I think it was a November or December of '67 release, was their attempt at being Sgt. Pepper's. That's a valid criticism. There are a lot of similarities, but this record, in and of itself, is a really, really, really cool listen.
It's darker than the Beatles stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's
yeah,
much deeper, darker side.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I can't recommend this enough if you're into psych. This is one that's worth taking the trip on. I ponied up for this one. I paid between $20 and $25. I want to say, completely worth it. I don't regret this purchase in any way.
Right, my number 3 pick, Love. if you see my channel, you know I love love. This also came from our friend Brian, who sold me that Stooges album, and this was about $7 as well. This is Love's to Capo. If you can't get into Forever Changes, if it doesn't click with you,
I don't get it.
No names.
I don't. Forever Changes, overrated.
He's wrong.
I like this one a lot better.
This is the one. If you want to get into love, listen to this one. Side 1, 6 singles. Every single one is perfection. I'm not even, that's not hyperbole, that's true.
He really does feel that way.
I do.
It may be hyperbole, but he really feels that.
I really do. Side 2 is Revelation. It's a side-long track, and it's good, but you just wish there were, maybe 3 or 4 tracks to go along with a longer jam. I'm not going to complain about it. It's still a good track. It's a great album. Forever Changes is still above it for me, but not by much. I mean, this is really, we're talking splitting hairs in terms of which record is better. This is phenomenal.
In breaking with my theme of getting these all for, well, what's a reasonable price when you're talking about a first pressing of Trout Mask Replica? They go for about $130 online. This is a very first pressing. This was a St. Louis record show find. I ponied up and I paid $85 for this double album. Gosh, I don't even know where to start.
We have to talk about the first time you saw the album, though. Okay.
I saw it in this guy's bin at a record show. He, again, had a $130 price tag on it. And I considered briefly making it my only purchase of the day. Because that would have been, that would have tapped me out for the day.
And it was within like 30 minutes of being at the show.
Yes, we had just gotten there. Almost. And here's the thing. In certain circles, I'm not known as an indecisive person. Most times in my public life, I see something, I go for it. Not flippantly either. I usually make lists and plan things out, but I know what I want to do. I'm very direct about it. This, I couldn't decide what to do with it.
I look up at one point, and you're halfway down like a row at the show, and you're just doing.
I was trying to figure out how I could make this work, and it couldn't work. So basically, I had to let it go that time, and I saved up a reasonable amount of cash over a period of 2 months, and was like, I'm hitting that guy before his bin's even open next time. I'm gonna ask if he still has it, and he did, and I walked away with it, and it really, as a piece in my collection, this one stands out as, without a doubt, going to be in the records. If the house was burning down, you would grab that.
Absolutely. My number 2 find, the Kings Are the Village Green Preservation Society. But this is like a 71 or 72 repress. I paid $20 for this, which is much more than I normally pay for an album. If you, again, or watch my channel regularly, I'm kind of cheap, but this is one that I couldn't pass up. Well worth it. Fantastic sort of orchestral pop psych-ish. Wicked Annabella is my favorite track on the album, and it's the darker track on here, a little bit harder, but really good stuff all around. Such a good album. Again, one of those essential. If you have to buy it on CD, whatever it takes, get this. It's so good.
It really is. It's awesome. All right, and my number 1. Gosh, I don't even know if I can call this a find. It's my number 1 record receiving. Another one of the DJs who's also my colleague at Millikan University, which is the owner or the operator of WJMU, handed over this. This is a first U.S. pressing of Pink Floyd's Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And he said he remembered purchasing this in 1967 or 68 with money that he had earned working that summer at a Boy Scout camp. And he said, pretty sure I bought that at a gas station.
Yeah.
We were going through a stack of records that had been given to us, and I felt bad about being like, oh, that's mine. But I made it my number 1 record on this video and on this countdown because, again, I think what we were trying to do is build a community of people who love psych. And the person who gave this to us said, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I really feel like music today isn't something that you sit down and think about, but you guys want to sit down and enjoy music and share that enjoyment of music that you have to think about with other people. So because this gift represents sort of in some ways a passing of a torch, maybe I'm reading way too much into it. That's why this is number 1 for me. So it meant a lot to me. It really did. That this person handed over a bunch of psych records and said, You know, these meant a lot to me. Hope you guys get some enjoyment out of them. Certainly we have.
Definitely. Alright, that leads me to my number one pick. Got this from our good friend Dave. This is the Zombies Odyssey and Oracle. Obviously not a first pressing. This is a later reissue. I think actually they reissued it the same year it came out. Just with a different cover after the single blew up time of the season. Wonderful, wonderful pop. 60s pop, psych pop, whatever you want to classify it as. It's phenomenal. And then of course it ends with Time of the Season, which is just perfection. It is a perfect song. And this was number one on my want list for like 5 years now. And Dave was kind enough to let it go for $10. I was hanging on his wall at home. I just took a flyer and was like, would you be willing to sell it? And he was like, sure, $10. I was like, done. Not even a second guess on that one. So yeah, really happy to have this one.
You know what we should do? We should do an average price.
Yes, absolutely.
So let me grab my phone.
Okay,
I'm gonna average. What was the average price of your top 10 of 2014?
Alright, average price was $9.20.
Mine was a little bit higher than that. Again, I had one record that I splurged on and then one that I got for free. But average price I paid for one of these albums, $16.40.
Not bad at all. And we've got a record show tomorrow. It is currently...
is it today?
It's 12:35 a.m. and we have to leave my house at 5:30. So I will be up in about 4.5 hours to get ready for this. And yeah, that sounds terrible. I don't know how to end this. Do you?
I don't know. I want to remind you to tune into our radio show if you like these records. You'll hear them and a bunch of others just like them on 89.5 WJMU The Quad, which is streaming 24 hours a day online. If you just Google WJMU, our homepage will be the first thing that comes up, and there's a listen live stream link right at the bottom of the page. You can also check us out on Facebook by searching the Psychedelic Experience 895. We've got a WordPress site for all of our past shows and tons of ways to access us. But thanks so much for watching our videos, wanting to know about our record collections. I know I watch a bunch of VC videos whenever I get a chance to. I love hearing about what you guys find. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the best of what we found in 2014.
See you guys.